Good luck. So now, which camera do you want me looking in?
Dad, you're making me nervous.
As long as you're not standing behind me.
Ow! Isn't that nice?
Get out of here! Get out of here!
Drop of a Ford. I'm not bad at white.
Okay, read it again to me now.
She's much better looking.
On the outskirts of town in Wahpeton, North Dakota, steam billows from a large stack, a familiar sight to passersby. The beets are piled high in the yard, and the trucks are rolling quickly back and forth, moving ton after ton in an almost perpetual hustle that continues until every last sugar beet has been fed through. Every year, the success or failure of this massive undertaking hinges upon the effectiveness of a dedicated team. The management, the employees, and the growers all know that each step in refining their product is just as important as the next, that they are only as strong as their weakest link, and if one person succeeds, they all succeed. Because as they grow together.
Growing together means
working together and cooperating, we can achieve more than we can by ourselves.
It's a real kind of farmer North Dakota theme.
You do need to look out for more than yourself.
Frankly, that's how this co-op works. Factory workers to the growers, board of directors, management.
It just takes everybody to put it together.
The younger ones are stepping up, and stepping up quite well, I might add.
We just all need to grow, both personally, as a corporation, as an organization, and obviously we want a good growing crop each year.
When I hear growing together, to me that indicates there's two groups. And I look at MinnDak, we're one group. We're not two groups, we're one group.
MinnDak is an organization of 450 or so family farmers.
We do feel a camaraderie between many of us growers.
You see plenty of pictures of the marriages, the graduations, the births, the promotions.
My dad and my grandfather both farmed, and my son farms.
MinnDak definitely is now not only part of my career and my farming, but part of my family.
And I'm glad I'm part of it.
Last year was a year to remember for everyone, but it wasn't without its challenges. The growers pushed hard and gave everyone at the factory some anxiety by almost delivering too much of a good thing. Almost. This is the story of records, and it all begins with the crop.
you're talking about the 2012 crop?
Well, the 2012 crop was a record setter in many ways.
It had top-notch quality.
We have a lot of sugar to sell.
This processing year was a big year.
It got so big we thought we might have to restrict how much we could take.
Unfortunately, we still had a little trouble processing it. They said it was too dry.
It was a challenge.
It surprisingly didn't store quite like we had hoped.
Our workers at the factory and our operational people, all of them are second to none.
We owe a big thank you to that whole group.
It was a crop that you would like to have more than just once in a lifetime.
I don't know if I'll see another one like that in my lifetime.
A year that I'd like to have every year.
We processed a record quantity of sugar beets. We produced a record quantity of sugar pulp and molasses, making for a good year.
2012,
for the record,
was a year that set several
was a year that set several records.
Well, records are always good, you know. Their records are always made to be broken.
When you can put an R after a number indicating it was a record, there's a great deal of pride.
2012 marked the final year of CEO Dave Roach's 13-year tenure at MinnDak. It was with heavy hearts that everyone began making preparations for his departure, but it was up to the board to beat the pavement and begin the exhaustive search for a new CEO, someone who fit the bill and who would carry on the incredible standard of leadership that Dave had forged over the years.
We've known for a couple years that Dave is approaching retirement.
We needed somebody with sugar knowledge, somebody with agricultural background.
It was not an easy decision.
It wasn't a real easy decision.
It was a hard decision to make.
The gentleman that we ended up hiring was Kurt Wickstrom.
When he left, he said, "I really want this job."
He was the CEO for Beta Seed, and he had experience with Monsanto.
I think he's going to fit in well. He's a farm kid from Canada.
Likeable guy that has his head on his shoulders.
He'll be able to relate well with the producers and also well with the workers in general.
Kurt is going to have to turn the CEO position into Kurt's position.
We knew we had some big shoes to fill.
Got some big shoes to fill.
Kurt has some big shoes to fill.
He's got a lot of things to learn about the business, about MinnDak.
Dave was really good for this new decade. Now it's time for him to go, and let's see what the new guy can do.
Well, Dave, I sincerely want to thank you for your contributions to Minn-Dak Farmers Cooperative. It's an honor for me to be chosen by the board. The board mentioned that I had big shoes to fill, and that's certainly the case. And the company is in great shape due to your leadership. And I look forward to continuing on in that same fashion.
From what we see so far, we hit the nail on the head.
We're excited to have him.
Like any good farmer, the growers and shareholders at MinnDak, even after a good year, are cautiously optimistic. Their pragmatic nature allows them to enjoy the bountiful years and hunker down to meet the challenges of the lean years. Russ Mock understands the cycle all too well.
It's really surprising how every other year has been a good year. Every other one, the odd years have been really bad years. But 10, 12, and maybe 14 next year, just think how good a year we're going to have next year.
I think our biggest problem right now is the world sugar supply situation and where it's coming from and why.
Right now, we happen to be looking at challenging market conditions.
The biggest challenge right now is prices. We can't control it.
We have to continue to improve the plant. We have to continue to focus on safety.
Our biggest challenge, obviously, is trying to get through the MDS, making sure that all becomes gets on track and so forth.
Well, they broke ground on it.
The construction and everything is on schedule.
That'll generate a good revenue stream. We believe more than adequate to cover the cost of the project.
Higher sugar prices will come back again, and at the end of the day, MinnDak will be here.
It isn't lost on anyone that the political climate in Washington, D.C. continues to be hostile at best. Unfortunately, MinnDak is never completely insulated from the politics of national sugar policy, especially as it relates to renewal of the Farm Bill. The chairman of the MinnDak board, Brent Davison, has extensive experience with the sugar lobbying effort in Washington. So, Brent, where do you see the Farm Bill heading?
I have no idea.
Yeah, the Farm Bill's kind of a mess.
It's just childish. Amateur hour.
It's a new paradigm. Even our staff that we have in D.C. says this is all new. They've never seen anything like it, the division that's out there.
Of course, our sugar policy is within the Farm Bill.
Well, the sugar provisions have survived so far.
We won in the Senate. We won in the House.
I'm optimistic that they're going to be able to move something forward.
Time will tell.
It's very interesting to go to Washington.
We usually tell them, hey, we'd rather be home on our tractor or on our farm than out here, but this needs to be done, so we're out here.
We're not paid lobbyists.
House Speaker Boehner was there, and we were talking to him, and
you mentioned you're from North Dakota, and you're almost an instant celebrity.
He said, you know what? Sugar's gonna be all right because you boys show up.
They definitely pick up on my accent and say, where are you from, man?
So that was good to hear.
I don't mind. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, the hardest time we have is just trying to get around Washington. You know, you never know about those cabbies.
I don't want to know what they do in D.C. most of the time.
You know, what happens in D.C. stays in D.C., you know.
Exactly.
The final chapter of the MinnDak story for 2012 is one that every manager, worker, employee, grower, and shareholder has been dreading. Saying goodbye to their CEO of 13 years, Dave Roach. He retired in August of 2013 after more than a decade spent leading MinnDak and a veritable lifetime spent in the sugar industry. He's positive, charismatic, humble, approachable, and is a master of his craft. But let's let those who know him best elaborate.
I had just interviewed with another company, and then I interviewed with him. After I finished that interview, I thought, wow, this guy's passionate about the business, about MinnDak. He's passionate about the growers and the people. And when I remember going home that evening and telling my wife, hey, that's who I want to work for.
I've always said Dave was the sort of person who was born to be a CEO.
We've grown to love Dave as a manager and as a person. And
He was a ruthless boss, a lot of collateral damage. Yeah, it's been a rough ride.
Well, you know, when you're a Detroit Lions fan, what can you say?
Dave, to me, is like everybody's favorite grandpa.
Nothing pretentious about him. He's a regular guy.
He is immensely respected, and yet he's so approachable.
Dave is Dave. What you see is what you get.
Optimistic.
He's honest.
Lots of energy.
He's straightforward.
10 minutes with him, you think you've known him for a good long time.
He believes that people are good, and he treats them as good people.
Dave's got a great attitude, and he's very encouraging.
And he brings people up with him.
He started out at Michigan Sugar.
He knew the business, certainly.
To me, it's truly amazing how he knows a little bit about everybody's job.
He is able to nurture in each of us the best of what we do.
He finds something valuable in each person, and I think that's why Dave relates to people.
Everybody here, from the factory worker all the way up to the top, likes Dave Roach. They want to make Dave happy.
Well, Dave is an eternal optimist, and one of the things I'd like him to read is this book called The Rational Optimist. It explains a good justification for being rationally optimistic rather than eternally optimistic. I would like to give him this book, but it just is not in the budget.
I don't think I've ever seen him really ticked off.
One time that I could think of.
The redness would come to his cheeks.
His face would glow red.
I mean, if anybody could communicate, it was Dave.
We all know he likes to talk with his hands, you know.
Mr. Secretary, there's a couple things that we really have to leave with you here.
So I always like Dave with all of his workings.
I think everybody will get that.
And I know I don't do it like Dave does.
What is it that sets that off? When the energy gets to a certain level, he can't restrain himself.
Our politics are a little different. He's maybe on the right half of the side, and I may be on the left. And he said, if Obama gets elected, the market is going to tank. I believe Dave. I went out, I called my broker, I got out of the market. Crazy thing, Dave was right. And I just happened to have this chart with me. This shows the activity in the stock market.
Are you holding that right?
Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. Oh, wait, this is the way it is. So this was election day.
There you go.
And this is the market here. Oh, I guess Dave wasn't right. I gotta go. I gotta call my broker.
I think there's no doubt Dave's leaving MinnDak in a better condition than he found it.
Sound fiscal management, spending money in the right places.
If he hadn't led us to reduce our costs, we would not survive.
There have been a lot of changes at MinnDak during his tenure, and a lot of challenges along the way.
For instance, proceeding ahead with the molasses desugarization.
Central America Free Trade Agreement.
Management strategies he did to pull off a 3 million ton crop was pretty amazing.
All right, I mean, hey, what better year to go out on them? All-time records all the way across the board.
It's good timing, I'll say that.
I think it's a great year to end on.
He's going to retire someday, and we were really lucky that he spent the last 12 or 13 years with us.
Talking to him for the last couple of years, what are you going to do, Dave?
Oh, he'll find things to do, I'm sure.
Spend the amount of quality time with his wife and his children and his grandchildren.
I know he enjoys a game of golf now and then.
He needs to take some time and improve his game.
Well, I know he'd like to get a sailboat.
He's got a beautiful little cottage right on the lake.
I don't know if he's a fisherman, but he thinks he is.
I see it a complete disaster. I am seriously concerned.
It's like going from 200 miles an hour to zero. Just hard to do.
We all know Dave's a Michigan State fan.
I think he'll probably look to be a recruiter for the Lions.
I'm optimistic that as he spends more time in the state of Michigan, he'll actually become a Michigan Wolverine fan.
I think maybe he'll be sought after as a house interior decorator.
I think a lot of people care that Dave is retiring.
Well, we all care that Dave's leaving.
Dave has been an extremely popular CEO here at MinnDak.
And we're going to miss him, no doubt about it.
We'll really miss him around here.
I'm going to miss him.
Dave will be missed. He's a great leader.
We're losing a very talented man in the industry.
Somebody I always looked up to.
It's going to be tough seeing him go.
You're going to be missed, Dave, no doubt about it.
He's like one of us.
Well, Dave.
Well, Dave. Well, Dave.
Well, Dave.
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 Okay, Dave. Okay, David.
Dave, I want to tell you congratulations.
You deserve a good retirement.
Thank you for your years of service.
You have worked hard and had a long and successful career.
I want you to really enjoy retirement.
Enjoy those grandkids.
I think we're a better area and better community and a better co-op since you've joined us.
Dave, good health.
We're going to miss you. I know you'll be successful in retirement just as you were in business.
It's been an honor to have worked with you.
Dave, I certainly appreciate the time that I've spent with you on the board.
You did nothing but positive things.
I've enjoyed every minute working with you.
Thanks for your many years you gave MinnDak.
I'm happy that I was here on your first day and up to your last day.
You've done a great job here. You've left the company in great shape.
You're welcome back here anytime, any place.
If we don't see you frequently, we're going to think about you frequently because our memories are all very fond.
I want to wish you and Rhea God's blessings.
We went through a lot together. I'll always remember it, cherish it.
Have a good retirement, Dave.
You're going to be missed.
I've appreciated the opportunity to serve at Minn-Dak Farmers Cooperative. I'm grateful for the confidence that's been placed in me, for the collegial way in which we've managed the organization over the past number of the years, the directors that I've worked with most directly, but all of the shareholders, all of the growers that I've dealt with over the years. You've treated me with kindness and respect. I've appreciated the opportunity to serve you, and they'll be among the most memorable years of not only my business career, but of my life. And I thank you for that. One of my favorite movies, Field of Dreams. You know that scene where the old ball players disappear into the cornfield? I've thought that's been an awesome shot over the years, so I want to give it a try with sugar beets. I know we're a little short on foliage here, but I'd like to give it a try. I'm heading off into the sunset. I've had a great experience at MinnDak. I thank you all, and hopefully I'm dissolving into the beet field back here. Not sure if this is going to work, but it's been a great ride and a lot of fun. We'll see you all. Continue the great growing conditions. Go MinnDak!